Hey, what's up there, YouTubers? Adjmins and a Drop coming to you guys here today with another deck tech. So today we're taking a look at a standard build, and it is red-black aggro. Now this is actually an update from the previous red-black aggro deck that I posted kind of towards the beginning of the season of the Return to Ravnica season of Standard, and now I'm just updating what all I changed out of it. And this deck functions very much like red deck wins, only it has the addition of black to have a little bit more flexibility with bigger decks like Reanimator and also Control, and you just end up having a little bit more options to be able to run things. So we're going to break it down here today and take a look at what I'm running for this deck. If you guys have any suggestions for decks that you would like to see, please leave them down in the comments below. And remember to check out the playlist in the description where I have all the previous decks that I've covered. Alright, so the first thing that we're looking at here is the land base of the deck. So we have 23 lands, and they break down into 4 Blood Crypts. We have 4 Dragonskull Summits, 2 Cavern of Souls to make sure that our bigger guys are going to be able to come in and be uncounterable, because counter spells are still a thing in the format. And then we have our basics. So we have 10 basic mountains. I'll try and grab them 5 and 5. So yeah, 10 mountains and then just 3 swamps. So 23 lands total in the deck. Moving on from there, our creatures are pretty standard with how a red deck wins deck would kind of pan out. We have Stromkirk Nobel, so he gets bigger with each time that he's successfully able to swing in and he's not answered. So he just gets bigger and bigger and can potentially become a really, really huge threat. We have Rakdos Cackler, so essentially a 2/2 for 1 red or black mana. Ash Zealot, which has haste. It's a 2/2 for double red. The double red intensive is it's definitely annoying. I would prefer if this card was just 1 generic and 1 red, but even still, first strike, and it's going to punish players for using flashback spells mainly. We have Knight of Infamy, which has protection from white and exalted, so he's either going to make himself bigger or another one of your creatures bigger if they're attacking alone, but the protection from white is pretty relevant with a lot of the creatures in the current format, and it gives them a pretty nice leeway to be able to swing in unanswered. We have a playset of Hellriders, so Hellrider is another very appropriate aggro card. He himself has haste, and whenever he swings or another one of your creatures swing, he's going to be dealing damage to your opponent, which is definitely really nice, especially because you can redirect that damage to planeswalkers if need be. We have Falkenrath Aristocrat, so this is a 3-of in the build, so flying and haste, and you can sack creatures and make her indestructible, which makes her a very nice card to have, especially if you have very insignificant cards like the Cackler or something that can't necessarily do anything in a given situation. You can still swing in with the Aristocrat and get some damage done, and if need be, you can make her indestructible. We have Thundermaw Hellkite, so we are running the Hellkite as a 3-of. And he is just absolutely huge in this type of a deck because he's a 5/5 for 5 flying haste. He pings down and taps down your opponent's flying creatures, so it pretty much assures that he's going to be swinging in. Moving away from the creatures, we have Pillar of Flame as a playset to be able to deal 2 damage. And if we're going for getting rid of creatures, it's a nice way to deal with stuff like zombies, especially Gravecrawler and Drawup's Messenger. Searing Spear, 2 cost, deal 3 to either creature or player. 1 single Mizzium Mortars to get rid of creatures with toughness of 4 or less, and it also has the Overload, which can be relevant in later games. You don't really want to be playing a later game with red deck wins or red-black deck wins or Rakdos deck wins, whatever you want to call it. In these type of aggro decks, you don't really want to be playing the late game, but if it gets to that, Mizzium Mortars is definitely a nice overload way of just clearing the board for a nice bit of mana, especially if you start off in your opening hand with it. And then we have 2 Dreadbore for just being able to get rid of creatures or planeswalkers, all the same pretty much. So that's the main board that we have for the deck. Now we are taking a look at what we have for the sideboard options. So we first off have Olivia Voldaren, so we're running her as a 3-of, and I like siding her in up against Reanimator, especially because they have a lot of bigger creatures. We're able to take our opponent's creature by using a combination of Olivia's first and second abilities, so it makes her nice because she can become potentially bigger and also steal your opponent's threats and use them against them, which is always nice. We have a playset of Pyreheart Wolf, and Pyreheart Wolf is something that I like siding in against decks that have the means of blocking our creatures and their blockers are a little bit bigger. So we can side in Pyreheart Wolf and have a way of our creatures essentially being able to swing in, and not very much is going to happen from our opponent's end where they're going to be blocking with very much, especially if they only have like one creature out there. Pyreheart forces them to have multiple creatures in order to block our creatures. We have 2 ultimate price for dealing with mono-colored creatures for just 2 mana at an instant speed as well. 1 Zealous Conscripts to be able to take our opponent's big creatures, again, stuff like Reanimator, we're able to take their things, and it also has haste so it can swing in as well. We have 2 Appetite for Brains, so this is going into the Control and the Reanimator matchups where we are going to be able to get rid of cards with converted mana cost 4 or greater, and it actually exiles them as well. So if you're able to hit into an Angel of Serenity or even a Jason Control or something like that, you have the assurance of it being exiled, so you don't have to worry about it finding its way back into their deck, or them using Angel and looping another Angel and just having that cycle go on for them. And then we have 3 Duress, where Duress is going to be appropriate for the Control and also like the mid-range, the Jund mid-range type of decks, where we can set it in and get rid of their instants and sorceries that are kind of annoying, as well as Planeswalkers as well, because it's non-creature, non-land cards. So just 1 black, and we're able to hit a lot of things with it. So that is the main board and sideboard for the updated red-black aggro that I have here. If you guys enjoyed it, please be sure to like, favorite, and subscribe for more Magic the Gathering videos. The entire deck list is down below where you guys can check it out and use it as a reference. And until next time, guys, have a wonderful, fun-filled Magic the Gathering day.